Turkish for you.
All right, if you're learning Turkish, I bet you've hit that one big confusing wall, the verb to be. You try to say something simple like, I am happy, or she is a doctor, and the words am and is just seem to vanish. Well, in this explainer, we are going to crack that code.
Just take a look at this. In English, the structure is so clear. I am a student. You've got your subject, your verb, your noun. But then you look at the Turkish, ben öğrenciyim, and the word am is just poof, gone. So what's going on here? Where did that essential piece of the sentence disappear to?
So here's the secret, and it's actually pretty cool. Turkish doesn't bother with a whole separate word for to be in the present tense. It does something way more efficient. It takes the meaning of am, is, or are and attaches it right onto the end of the word as a suffix. The verb isn't missing, it's just hiding in plain sight.
This slide really shows that fundamental switch you have to make in your brain. In English, the verb is a separate link in the chain, but in Turkish, it's basically fused to the end of the noun. I am a doctor becomes ben doktor. That little you see at the end, that is the verb am. Once you really get that, honestly, everything else just starts to click into place.
Okay, so if the secret is hiding in the suffixes, how in the world do we know which one to use? Well, this is where two of the big ideas in Turkish come into play. Personal endings, which have to match the subject, like I or you, and the famous or maybe infamous rule of vowel harmony, which tells you exactly how to spell that suffix. Let's break it down.
This chart right here, this is your master key. It's got every personal suffix you're going to need. So for ben, or I, you see you've got 4 choices. Which one you pick depends completely on the last vowel of the word you're attaching it to. It's the same pattern for sen, biz, and siz. And hey, take a look at o. For he, she, or it, that's the easiest one of all. No suffix required. Can't get simpler than that.
Okay, let's see this thing in action. The word for beautiful is güzel. The last vowel in that word is a. So we look back at our chart for sen, you, and the suffix that matches an a vowel is sin. Then you just put them together. Sen çok güzelsin. You are very beautiful. See how that works? It's like a little puzzle.
And here's that super simple case I was talking about. The word for unhappy is mutsuz. To say he is unhappy, you use the pronoun o. And what's the rule for o? That's right, no suffix. You literally just say o mutsuz. That's the entire sentence. It's incredibly direct. Here's another one for you. Biz means we. The word for strong is güçlü. The last vowel is u, so our suffix should be uz. But hold on a second. Look closely at the example. Biz güçlüyüz. Do you see that extra little ye that got snuck in there? What's that about? Well, that, my friends, brings us to our next crucial rule. So, what happens when a word ends in a vowel and the suffix you need to add also starts with a vowel? In Turkish, 2 vowels just can't stand next to each other like that. It's a bit of a traffic jam. The language solves this with a really neat trick. It inserts a buffer consonant, and that consonant is pretty much always the letter Y. This breaks it down perfectly. Let's take the word öğrenci, which means student. It ends in E, which is a vowel. The suffix for I am that matches that E vowel is im. Whoops, another vowel. To stop them from clashing, you just slide a Y right in between them, so it becomes öğrenci, im. Put it all together, öğrenciyim. I am a student. So the key thing to remember is that this rule really only pops up when you're talking about ben, I, and biz, we, simply because those are the only suffixes that start with a vowel. You can see it in the examples. Yaşlı, old, ends in a vowel, so you say yaşlıyım. Hasta, sick, ends in a vowel, so we say hastayız. Great! We've totally mastered how to say what things are. But, what about saying what they are not? Well, for this, Turkish gives us one incredibly useful and wonderfully consistent word.
And that magic word is değil. This is your go-to for making these kinds of sentences negative. But here's the really clever part. You don't mess with the noun or adjective at all. You leave it alone, you add the word değil after it, and then, this is the key, that personal suffix that was on the noun jumps over and attaches itself to değil instead.
Look at how this works. It's so cool. In the positive sentence, ben doktorum, the suffix is sitting right on doktor. Now to make it negative, that suffix physically moves. It becomes ben doktor değilim. The suffix is now attached to değil. Same thing for the second one. Sen yorgunsun turns into sen yorgun değilsin. The suffix just hops right over.
Now, you are going to love this. This is the absolute best part about using değil. Because the word değil always ends with the vowel e, you don't have to think about vowel harmony anymore. You can just forget it. The suffix will always be the e version. So it's always değilim, değilsin, değiliz. This makes forming negative sentences so predictable and so much easier.
All right, we are on a roll. We can make positive statements, we can make negative statements. Let's tackle the final piece of this puzzle, asking those simple yes or no questions. You know, are you a doctor? Is she tired? This just requires one more tiny but mighty little word.
And you might be seeing a pattern by now. Just like with değil, when we ask a question, that personal suffix gets a new home. It moves again. It doesn't stay on the noun or adjective. Nope, it jumps over to the special question word itself.
That special question word in Turkish is mi, in its different versions. It's always written as a separate word, and its vowel changes to match the word that comes before it, following our old friend vowel harmony. So to ask, are you a student, you'd start with öğrenci mi, and then you'd attach the personal suffix for you right onto that mi. This little conversation puts it all together beautifully. Let's look at the question. Sen hasta mısın? The word hasta ends in an a, so the question particle becomes mı. Then the suffix for sen, which is sin, attaches right onto it, giving us mısın. And the answer? It uses that negative form we just nailed, hayır, ben hasta değilim. And here's just a final, super practical tip for when you're actually talking to people. It might sound obvious, but it's crucial to remember. If someone asks a question to sen, which means you, you're naturally going to answer from the perspective of ben, which means I. This chart just lays out those simple back and forth shifts. So there you have it. The invisible verb? It's not so invisible anymore, is it? It's a system of suffixes that's actually really elegant, super efficient, and once you get the hang of it, it's incredibly intuitive. You now hold the code for forming thousands of basic, essential sentences in Turkish. So the only question left is, what are you going to say first?
Turkish for you.